good. How are you?
All right, thanks. Now, you got to sit back and watch everything that's happened. How are you feeling today about everything?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how the season plays out 100%. It's been so cool to see what they put together after living the experience. So, yeah, excited for sure.
Now, how did you feel at the time when you found out that the traitors were going to be targeting you and three others?
I mean, it, after being put in the grave and knowing what happens, it's definitely nice now. You want to know what their thought process
Right.
was, what was the reason, what led to me being in the grave. So after seeing that, it's good to have a little bit of that closure.
Yes.
But like I said to some other people, it's just kind of like funny because in my real life, like not a single person in my life would describe me as quiet. So it's kind of funny that I got like thrown into that group, but.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my strategy when playing the game was I was definitely like actively listening a lot of the time.
Right.
I was still like I wasn't completely quiet. I feel like I was still having like a lot of conversations with people, but I think I just wasn't having conversations enough with the traders,
Right.
which got labeled me as quiet to them because like I wasn't too involved with chatting with them. There's 20 people there. It's hard to get conversations with everybody, it's still so early in the game. So I just think I was falling under their radar, which
Okay.
led me to be one of the people that was being put into the grave.
Now, while you were in the grave, as you heard above, there wasn't really any kind of formal plan about who or strategy about they were going to say. Did that surprise you being down there? Because if I know if that was me, I'd be like, help.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. Like exactly like Shaughnessy said, like I think I would have been on the same wavelength of as her of like, guys, we should like talk about this. Who are we gonna save? Does anybody not trust somebody? Like, do we have a reason not to save one of these people in here? Them not talking about it definitely scared me a little bit. And then obviously I wasn't getting rungs in my grave, and I was like,
Right.
oh crap, like I think they think that I'm a traitor, you know what I mean? That was like the only reason I could really, they
Well,
must think that I'm a
I was
traitor.
gonna ask, did you have any inkling about why they picked others over you? Was it the fact that you think they thought you were a traitor?
That's the only thing that I had to go off of. Like, I
Yeah.
obviously knew that they had breakfast that morning and they had chat. So I was like, crap, like maybe somebody brought my name up around
Right.
breakfast and I wasn't there to defend myself, I'm thinking all these things, like, what could it be? Obviously, we see now that like the traders were kind of taking Thompson under their wing a little
Right.
bit. You know what I mean? They kind of
Right.
seemed like they wanted to use him as a shield later. And it came down between me and Thompson, and that was just the smarter pick for the traders. Like a lot of people are like, it was up to the faithfuls to decide who they wanted to stay, but you're forgetting that the traders are playing the mission too. So,
Yeah.
they are also able to put rungs in people's like ladders. And for me, I think it's only shown that like only Venus puts a rung in my ladder. Like Kevin, I don't recall Kevin or Coco putting any in mine. So yeah, they wanted to save Thompson because they needed him for like later in the game, and I just don't think they could have used me as they, seemed to want to use Thompson.
Was it now? It must have been very frustrating. Was there anything else you could do besides call out to them and like, hey, give me a rug?
Absolutely not. And it's hard because like I'm yelling like help me or like guys, am I faithful? But
Yeah.
like people are also out there looking for runks. So there
Yeah.
isn't even really people like nobody's standing around being like,
Right.
why should we save you? Like people are out there running on the hills and trying to get these rungs. So
Right.
yeah, unfortunately, like there wasn't much that I could do. And sometimes I can't even see who's putting rungs in my thing because
Right.
not everybody is looking over and putting one in.
Right.
Some people are just running by and dipping one in.
Yeah.
And, I think it was also just a bit unlucky that I was in the grave furthest down. You know
All
what I
right.
mean? Maybe people, there was a lot of running. It was a very physical challenge. So I'm like, you could even hear them say, let's just get the closest ones first,
Right. Right.
So I think I just really like lucked out that I was in the furthest grave and that was the one. that was they wanted to do last, you know? So
Right. Just yeah, sometimes it can just be the circumstances. Now, your circumstances are you were never voted out. I mean, you must take some solace in that, the fact that no, you're going to be one of the people who was never voted out of the game.
yeah, so I think, like I said, I think it was just like kind of it was a smart move for the traders. Like
Right.
it, people, I felt like we all came across as relatively faithful.
Right.
And, you're kind of just like on a whim of just who is it gonna be? And it just so happened to be me. Like I don't think there was any malicious intent behind
No.
it. I think it's just the way the cards fell, and like it's part of the game. Someone had to go, and unfortunately it sucked, but it was me. So what can you do?
Now, did you have any idea that there was a married couple in the game? Did you have any clues or hints, or did they keep that pretty well from you?
Oh my God, absolutely not. I truly had no idea. Like they played it off like so well. And I
Yeah.
like good for them. I think they did a great job. And I think it's like so cool to be able to go and do that with your partner. And exactly like I said, it's so hard. It's so hard to just
Right.
like not be able to interact with your partner the way that you want to, or,
Right.
seeing Meredith, be upset and like Chala being like, ugh, like I want to go and comfort her, but like I can't because it would, totally like give
Right.
us away.
Right.
So yeah, it was crazy. It was almost a bigger surprise than the traders for me.
And again, the trade, the faithful are always behind in this game because they have very little go on at the start to figure out who might be a traitor. Who did you think, or who did you suspect of being a traitor based on your time there?
Um, Yeah, so my post exit traders reveal was just posted on the traders page as well, but I had suspicion of Venus. I didn't
Right.
that wasn't really a name I was like throwing out at that time because the only real evidence that I had is I just felt like she was really nervous walking into breakfast that day.
Right.
To me, her energy just felt nervous, and
Right.
like I wasn't really gonna go around saying Venus's name being like I felt she was nervous at practice. Like, I didn't really think that was like credible information to like raise my pitchfork at. But it was on my radar. And also
Yeah.
for me, I was just like, I think one of the traders has to be a strong woman.
Right.
And I did, Meredith's name was being thrown around, but like I had conversations with Meredith. I didn't think it was Meredith. I didn't think it was Shaughnessy. And, like, I was just like, I think it's Venus. And, we were sitting across from each other at the round table as well. And like,
Yeah.
I just had a little bit of suspicion. And, like, maybe she, clock was starting to clock that as well. And
Yeah.
that's why I was like being put in the grave. I really have no idea, but a little bit of suspicion about Venus, after the whole grave situation, I was like, oh, is Thompson a traitor?
Yeah.
Did they put a traitor in this grave? You could hear people talk about how maybe it's, maybe they're flying under the radar, but they're a traitor, just like Netta did in previous seasons. So I was like,
Right.
oh crap. I was like, maybe it's Thompson. Because like also before that, I didn't really know where to put him on my faithful to traitor scale. I was unsure. So I was like, it has to be Thompson. And then I was also a bit suspicious of Kitten. I just wanted to investigate that more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But obviously those were wrong, and it was Coco and Kevin. And was I suspicious of them? Sure, but like I said, it was
Yeah.
like more or less I just wanted to have more chats with them. But I feel like Kevin, like you're always going to be suspicious of
Right.
Kevin. You're never really going to
He's
know if you
Kevin.
can fully trust him.
He's Kevin.
So yeah, that's really it.
Now, what you've been able to watch it all back. What's the things that really surprised you the most about watching it back? Things that happen.
That's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. That surprised me. I think I wouldn't necessarily say surprised, but just getting to see what actually happened on like the
Right.
strength boat in
Right.
that first mission because, you know, after that mission, some people were leaving upset, different boats, and so
Right.
for
Right.
me, I was like, I want to know what happened on each of these boats because, I want to see how people's behavior is. And so I also wanted to know the full story of what actually happened, of why Shaughnessy got off that boat. Like,
Oh, right.
were they just like,
Yeah.
you're a girl, get off the boat? Like, I wanted to know like the true story of like what happened because, that was something that everybody was talking about. And we always felt like we didn't really know the true story of that. And we also just like didn't think it was fair Shaughnessy got off the boat. So
Right.
we were riding for her in that sense also. So being able to see that, that was definitely something I was
Yeah.
excited to see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that sticks out too much. I think just even being able to see the next challenge, like all of us running off the dock, like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I can, I really want to see how they edit this and like put it in there. I thought that was like a really interesting challenge. Lots
Now,
of explosions happening, like.
now, would you ever come back and play again? And if you would you rather be a faithful or a traitor?
Oh my gosh, I'd 100% come back and play again. I feel like if they ever have the all-star cast of like maybe people who like went a bit too early or
Yeah,
people
yeah,
that like
yeah.
want to play again,
Yeah,
I 100% would. I would do it again in a heartbeat. And like, I definitely think that I would be interested in being a trader the next time. Like,
right.
as you know, this season, the touch, it was reversed. If you were touched, you were
Right.
a faithful versus being a traitor. And so when I came in wanting to be one of the first faithfuls that are going to win of the Canadian season, so when my shoulder got touched,
Yeah.
I was freaking out. I'm like, this was not the plan, guys. Like I said, I wanted to be faithful. I don't know if I can be a traitor, and
Yeah.
fully convinced myself, okay, I guess we can do this. We're a traitor. They want me to be a traitor.
Right.
Let's do this. So it wasn't until then, that experience, that I thought I could handle the weight of being a traitor.
Right. Right.
So now that, I kind of gotten the first, reality show, whatever, out of the way, I
Yeah.
just feel like I'm like a lot more comfortable in what the experience looks like and I
Right.
know what to expect now. So I feel like I could definitely come back and potentially carry the weight of a traitor. But
Well, Mackenzie, it was terrible how you went out. It's
yeah.
terrible, but again, you weren't voted out, so you can take that home. And who knows, maybe your trader journey isn't over just yet. So, but it was wonderful watching you this season.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today. It was great, great chatting with you.